was in the right way, the right direction. Oh, good morning. First of all, I was thinking about just having this opportunity to come up and have like just a couple of minutes to talk about things that I've learned or thoughts that pop into my head. And usually I have kids to talk to, so you get to be the kids that I talk to today. And this part is kind of easy, not easy, because I'm up here sharing, but I'm not up here for the full time. It kind of stresses me out.
I can go.
So yeah, but I've had an opportunity to do that a few times, and because I've had that opportunity, thank you very much, I've also increased my prayers for the pastor who has to do that every Sunday. Wow. So, but I wanted to start with, I don't know, have you ever played this game when you were a kid? Whenever we would go to the pool, the swimming pool, we would go underwater, and we would try to like say something to each other underwater and guess what the other person was saying. And that was so much fun. And we never got it right. Maybe once in a while we got it right if we made it easy on the other person. But it was so funny because it was hard on both sides. It was hard to get the words out with those bubbles. And it was hard to hear through the water what was being said. But that was so much fun. And now, I don't know if you've seen kids playing this game, and maybe this is like past, maybe this is not a thing anymore, but so you have one person, and they put the headphones on, and they're listening to music, and they're watching the other person try to say something to them, and they keep guessing what they're saying, and it's hilarious, because you can say to them, while they're listening to music, you can say, I like mustard on my hot dog. And they mess it up. And it's so funny. And it's just a fun game. So I think maybe we'll play that. Maybe I can do that today. I put these on, listen to music, and see if I can tell what you were saying. Just kidding. But I think about how many times we are so distracted. Maybe it's not the water, and maybe it's not the headphones, but we're not really listening. I know I'm bad at that. I've gotten better, but we're not really listening to what God has to say to us and to each other. And so I wanted to read a Bible verse to you today, share with you. Something that we were talking about in Bible study, one of the verses in Mark chapter 7, verses 34 and 35. Kind of had fun with this one. Then looking up to heaven, he sighed and said to him, Ephphatha, that is, be opened. And immediately his ears were opened, his tongue was released, and he spoke plainly. And this is the Jesus cures a deaf man. And so we had a little bit of fun with what that would probably look like. But I was thinking about that and thinking about how hard it must have been for him to try to communicate with people when he couldn't hear, couldn't speak clearly. What would it have been like for him once he was healed? And what he would say, and who he would say it to. And I'm thinking, we have that same problem of communicating, of listening. And I guess my prayer is that we be more open to share and be more open to listen. And while thinking about that and listening to the songs we were singing this morning, and it popped into my head, one of my favorite songs, kind of a pop Christian song that's on the radio, Freedom Hymn. If you don't know it, I can't think of who sings that, but it's off the top of my head. But it's one of my favorites that I like to listen to. And some of the words in that song say, this is the sound, and I'm thinking, sound, what would it sound like when you're actually free? What did things sound like to the man that could finally hear? This is the sound of chains breaking. This is the beat of a heart changing. This is the song of a soul forgiven. This is my freedom hymn. So my prayer is that we just be more open. Yeah, we can play these games, but our everyday life, this not listening, this not communicating, doesn't become a very fun game after all. We pray for you. God, we are thankful for the places you take us, the people that you put around us. Today we pray that you open our ears and that you help us to open our mouths so that we can share with those around us the way that you've been involved in our lives, the way that you have changed us, that we are more free to share that with the people that you take us to. We pray this in your Son's name.
Thank you, Jackie. Before I read this, I've got to set this up. This is one of those things we just need to take in the running context of Mark's gospel. So if I back up a couple chapters, Jesus is in his hometown. He's not accepted there because, in this Mary's boy and all this, and he can't do anything there. Then he sends out his disciples, and his ministry is expanding. He sends them out 2 by 2 into the surrounding communities to tell the story of God's kingdom in the world now through him. And then he finds out that John the Baptist has been beheaded. He feeds a multitude of people. He has this run-in with the Pharisees that we heard last week, where they were starting to nitpick and question him on this and that, and not keeping all the rituals and traditions. What's up with all this stuff? And so he has this conversation with the Pharisees, and then just to top it off, when the disciples getting alone, they go, "What did you mean by what you told me?" And his response to him was, "Are you so dumb? You didn't get it yet?" This is all setting up to today. To hear these words. Jesus left that place and went to the vicinity of Tyre. He entered a house and did not want anyone to know it, yet he could not keep his presence secret. In fact, as soon as she heard about him, a woman whose little daughter was possessed by an evil spirit came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, born in Syrian Phoenicia. She begged Jesus to drive the demon out of her daughter. "First, let the children eat all they want," he told her, "for it is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to their dogs." "Yes, Lord," she replied, "but even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs." And then he told her, "For such a reply, you may go. The demon has left your daughter." And she went home and found her child lying on the bed, and the demon was gone. Then Jesus left the vicinity of Tyre and went through Sidon, down to the Sea of Galilee and into the region of the Decapolis. There some people brought to him a man who was deaf and could hardly talk, and they begged him to place his hand on the man. After he took him aside, away from the crowd, Jesus put his fingers into the man's ears. Then he spit and touched the man's tongue. He looked up to heaven and with a deep sigh said to him, "Ephphatha," which means "be open." At this, the man's ears were opened, his tongue was loosened, and he began to speak plainly. Jesus commanded them not to tell anyone. But the more he did so, the more they kept talking about it. People were overwhelmed with amazement. "He has done everything well," they said. "He even makes the deaf hear and the mute speak." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Jackie alluded to our conversation Wednesday night at the Bible school. And we got off into this direction that Jesus has this conversation, this confrontation with this lady for our benefit. And I got to thinking about that. I think, yeah, that's right. Well, in fact, the Gospels are written for our benefit, right? And so that we would come to understand who this Jesus is. But our 21st century mindset, being so politically correct about everything, he called her a dog. And there's people trying to rationalize that away. Well, it was a small dog. It's just kind of cute. He called her a dog. Now there's a reason. Dogs to the Jews were not pets. They were these four-legged critters that scrounged around in the wee hours of the morning, in the dark, finding whatever they can to survive. And a dog to a Jewish person, because of what they consumed, was unclean. And so they didn't do with dogs. But here, Jesus is in another country. He's in Gentile land. He's on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. He's on vacation. He's trying to take a day or two off. And he's where people see dogs differently. Dogs, but they're for pets. And so she challenges him. This woman challenges Jesus on this notion of giving bread to the dog. Well, even our dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the kids' plates under the table. They don't have to wait for it. They get it immediately. They eat. Jesus says, answer. You're right. Your faith. They see what you're doing. I want you to understand how big of a story this is to Mark. Mark's the shortest gospel. Not that many chapters. We're about halfway in the story. Jesus is just about to make his turn and go to Jerusalem, where he'll be arrested and executed. Mark wants this story known, and I'll tell you why. There's only 2 times in Mark's gospel where a woman gets a line in his gospel. This one. And at the very end, where the women say to each other, who are we going to get to move the stone out of the way? But he gives this woman a line. And she says in this line, yes, Lord, but even dogs get crumbs. She's the only person in Mark's gospel that refers to Jesus as Lord. Capital L. She recognizes him for who he is. And the big deal is, she's not a Jew. She's a Gentile. She's a Greek lady living here on the shore of the Mediterranean Sea. Yet she comes to Jesus in faith. Jesus is amazing. And he is. Now I said, he did this for the disciples, the group, to see this happen, to bear witness. Why? Because he's really breaking the rules here. 3 things. female. She's not of the same religion. And she's a Gentile. 3 strikes, all of which, for him to have a communication, any communication with her at all, makes him unclean by all the ritual standards of the Jewish people. And it doesn't matter to Jesus. And I think Jesus wants his disciples, who are so dull, to get this through their dull minds, to see it, to witness it. In fact, I think that's why it goes into the next part of the story, where he leaves there and goes to the Decapolis. The Decapolis is an area of Gentile people as well, on the far shore of the Sea of Galilee. The Decapolis, Deca means 10 in Greek, and so it's an area of 10 cities, is what it is. On this eastern side of the Sea of Galilee, and it's definitely Gentile territory, and it is there that these guys bring to Jesus this fellow who can't hear, and so he has this speech problem. Well, we know people who have hearing problems, and they don't, if they can speak at all, it's a wonder, and otherwise it's just sort of this garbled sound that comes out of their mouths as they attempt to speak, right? And Jesus takes him aside, which I think was a big deal. That it says that he took him aside. Why? How do you communicate with a fellow that can't hear? So he takes him and leads him away out of the crowd, touches his ears, touches his tongue. And here's the big one, I think. So he looks up to heaven, to God. And then we're told he sighs. Not that kind of sigh. It's a real. You ever think that Jesus had a learning curve? The human part of him. Just like the human part of him needed this vacation journey for a few miles to get away from it all. The learning curve for Jesus to come, the human part of him, to come to understand the full range of his mission. You see, he pointed it out. He said, why come from the Jewish people? When he talked to the lady. And now I think he just realized that his mission is beyond just the Jewish people to the Gentiles as well. And that, my friends, is really good news, because that's us. I'm sure nobody in this room has any Jewish heritage in you. And so, when he is about to heal this guy and he looks to heaven, he realizes, I think, that his call is to all humanity in that moment. And I think it's a big deal that Mark puts in that word in Jesus' side, because how else do you put into words as the light bulb goes on, as he realizes his call. And the man is I think when Jesus says, Father, he's speaking to all, not just to this man, but to all outside the Jewish part of the family of God, to all of us, to be open, that we would have the ears, the eyes, the heart, that we would be open to the inbreaking of the love of God through Christ into our world, and that we would bear witness to it, that our mouths would be open to it as well. In fact, we go on, it goes on there in the next line, it says, and Jesus told people, don't tell anybody about this. And he said, but the more he said it, the more they kept talking about it. They were amazed by it. And so I wonder sometimes how much do we behave a bit like the Jewish Pharisees and think that there are certain standards and rules and requirements to be part of the family of God. When everything points that no, it's open to everyone. What does it take for us to be open to the truth fully in our life, to set aside all our other notions about how this is supposed to go, and to trust fully in God and what God has done for us through Christ. That we might share in his joy, that we might tell of his love, that we might, like the words of the song that the choir sang today, that we might spread that message to the world. It's up to us. It's up to you and to me to tell that story here in this community, among our family, our friends, our co-workers, our neighbors, to the stranger that we meet, so that the love of God would be known. May your hearts, your minds, your ears, your mouths, your hands be open fully to the love of God. And may you joyfully be an ambassador of that love to the broken, to the darkness, to the needs of the world around us. And in doing so, may God be glorified. Hallelujah. And amen. I know I got a song.